Good morning and welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host Chump Change, just live recorded, and we're gonna go over some obviously Kaspa news. Obviously the price has been just absolutely holding, and I assumed it was going to tank after it hit Binance. There's gonna be a lot of shorts and stuff, but we didn't see that. So apparently 50x leverage didn't really harm the network. We're gonna go into some ETF stuff, right? ETF was delayed, as you guys might know or have already heard. The OpenAI, Sam Altman, the co-founder, right? Or no, sorry, he is the founder, right? The co-founder ends up quitting after Sam Altman left. I didn't know he left OpenAI, so that was kind of crazy news. And then yeah, we're just gonna go over my personal Kaspa FOMO feeling that I've been having. So yeah, I don't know, it's kind of crazy. Well, let's see who's in the chat and then we'll go from there. What's going on, DJ Mines? Good to see you, buddy. We have All Set in the chat. Steven Cicero, Crypto KJ, Automatic Beats, my man, good to see you. Leo Lustig, let's see, Dakota Miner, Chris Hanley, Mr. Max Voltage, thanks dad, I appreciate it when you show up to my videos, it's nice. Mr. Luke, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, my man. Crypto Bedell, good to see you as well. 56, Andrew Masad. Anybody else I may have missed? Black Cat, you're awesome. All right, let's get into this, start talking about the market, and then we'll kind of go into some stuff that I've done recently, and yeah, all that. So let's do it. Bitcoin 36,628. We got Ethereum just under 2,000 at 1949. Kaspa is still in the green at 13.5 cents, just about 13.4, right? So not too bad. Solana's down 0.28% today, which is $57. Honestly, it's still a freaking steal because Solana is probably gonna rocket on the next run. We have Dogecoin at 8 cents. That's nice to see. Litecoin's under 70 bucks. That sucks to see. And XRP is at 60 cents. Let's check out the weekly bubbles over here at Crypto Bubbles. Now we have Kaspa up 50.9% on the week. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Pancake Swaps up 18.9. Render's up 30.5. Hell yeah, holy shit. Render's at $3.25. DJ, tell me you're still in on Render. I didn't get back in on it. But it would have been a good move. Damn, that was a pretty good move. 30.5 on the week, $3. I never seen it that high, to be honest. I've only seen it at like 150, between 150 and 250, but it's kind of cool. All right, let's check out the day. Holy shit, what is this? 34.7%. Bitsore, is that how you say that? Heo, 34.7%. I don't know what this is. $227. Interesting. 12.7% on Render for the day. 12.2 for FTT token. Still don't understand that one, why they even allow it. And then we have Kaspa, 13.1%, which is pretty cool. I'm really stunned that it's still holding its actual its price, which is, you know, again, interesting. We have Fear and Greed Index looking at 69. It's getting closer to the greed side. As you can see, it flipped greed, but to be honest, anything over like 75 is really, like, you know, worrisome, I guess. Let's see. All right, what do we got? Top 10 cryptos by coin market cap. Let's see. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, XRP, USDC, Solana, Lido Staked, Ether, Cardano, and Dogecoin in 10th place. Let's see. Litecoin's in 18th. We have Shiba in 19th, and Bitcoin Cash is in 21st. Toncoin in 20th still. Haven't really heard much about that, but man, Kaspa the other day flipped Monero. It's still holding 28th place at a $2.8 billion market cap. Look, it's really close. It's tailing right behind Monero. All right, let's get into I guess talking about mining stuff, right? Let's check out the most profitable miners of the day at 10 cents per kilowatt hour. Honestly, I could change this to 30 cents and these units are all still profitable for me, and that's what I have to pay eventually or next month or whatever. We have the Wind Miner K9, 10.3 terahashes at $281 a day. The Bitmain KS3, this is 9.4 terahash at $255 a day. The KS3 8.3 terahash is at $225 a day. We have the Ice River KS3 at $216, the Ice River KS3M at $160. We have the Ice River KS2, $53, and the Ice River KS1 at $26. Now, what I noticed last night, and something that I want to kind of talk to you guys about. So the KS Pro, 200 gigahashes, right? It's making $5.37 a day. I just want to like show you guys this because it kind of Kind of threw me off a little bit. Where's the calculator? What am I doing? I pull up the calculator here. All right, so we got this, right? So let's do, where were we at? 537, right? 5.37. Let me turn down this. I don't know. Is the music too loud? Let me know. Let me know. Times 5, right? So 5 of those units would be one terahash, right? Because they're 200 gigahashes a piece. You know, 200 times 5 is 1,000, right? 1 terahash. These KS1s, $26.63 a day. If you had 5 KS0s, you'd be making $26.85 a day. And not only that, the wattage on the KS1 is 1200. No, is it 1200 watts? I think it's 1200 watts, right? No, wait, hold on. No, it's 600. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Did I think about this wrong? No, that's right. That's right. Sorry. It's 600 watts. KS1 600 watts. Let's see. Yep. 600 right here. And then we have 500 watts for 5 of those KS0s. Sorry, I got like super confused for a second. Yes, it's 100 less watts to run 5 KS0s versus this KS1. And I'm like sitting there last night like, does this make any sense? This makes no sense to me. Why would you buy a KS1? I don't get it. I don't get it. Is it just me? Like, does it make sense to purchase 5 KS0s, KS0 Pros for 100 less watts at more profitability versus a KS1 at 600 watts for a little bit less profitability? It makes, I don't know, it makes total sense to me. So last night, personally, I purchased 5 KS0s. So hopefully those will end up coming in sooner than later. But over here at Ice River, you can say, oh, hold on, let me flip the screen. Totally forgot. All right, Ice River right here. Everything was sold out yesterday. Apparently these KS0s are back in stock, but they are for the December batch. So you're kind of waiting a couple weeks, right? Let's see. Are you trying to make the KSO prices go up? Shut up. Mr. Max Voltage. Listen, bust out the wallet, buddy. Get that Best Buy credit going. Get yourself some KS0s. All right. Well, like I said, personally, I purchased. Let's see what the price is actually. KS1. This is $18.99, and this is something that I didn't do last night, right? So 420. Hold on. Yeah, no, that's right. 429 times 5. Let's see. So it would be 2145. So the only thing that would really mess this up, right, is the fact that do you have to pay like the tariffs, right? Like how would the tariffs work on these units because they're smaller? What do they value them at? And then what does this come in at? But last night when I was searching through a couple different vendors, the KS1 was exactly, actually it was more money, a little bit more money than buying 5 KS0s. And it was just, it made no sense. The KS1 can overclock to nearly 2 terahashes, says DJ Mines. You're correct, but it kills the efficiency. The efficiency goes to shit when you do that. The numbers look really bad on the KS1. It goes up to like 1100 watts or something, doesn't it? And it's like 1.75 terahash, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's where it was at. But it doesn't make much sense to me to do that. Like for efficiency standpoint of like where I'm at, you know what I mean? But man, these units are just going to be going up more and more, you know, more the Kaspa price does good. It's just, it really is absurd how it's still holding a 13.4 rate or 13.4. I mean, 0.134 cent rate. It's nuts. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I was literally up to like 3 in the morning, freaking FOMOing into this shit. So I'm tired today. I apologize. Let's see. I'd still go for a KS1 over 5 KS Pros. Less points of failure. Yes, but Chuck Danger, you got to think about this, right? This is where my brain came into like, you know, what's the better move here? When the bull run comes, okay, people that are FOMOing in are they're way more likely to FOMO in for $500 or $1,000 versus $4,000, $5,000 for these KS1s. They'll probably be double the price they are now. You know what I mean? I think it would be way easier to sell 5 KS0 Pros versus the KS1. That's just me personally. You guys let me know what you think about that in the chat. It was just it was one of those things. I'm like sitting there last night, like this makes no sense. Like why wouldn't I buy 5 of these things? And they're just small. You know what I mean? They're easy to take care of. I just put a freaking USB fan on them, under 100 watts, throw them around my house, whatever I want to do. It just makes sense. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about it. I thought it was pretty cool. All right. Anyways, let's get into the news of the day. So we have Crypto World, CNBC television, FBI arrests 3 men alleged multi-million-dollar crypto laundering scheme. Let's see what they got to say. And then we'll get into the Sam Altman stuff and the ETF stuff. So let's do it.
Today, a MasterCard executive says widespread adoption of CBDCs could be difficult. The FBI arrests 3 men in an alleged $10 million crypto laundering scheme. And Rebecca Reddick, the chief legal and policy officer at Polygon Labs, weighs in on regulatory advancements both in the US and overseas.
Oh, real quick too, 120 volt is an advantage for some, says Mining Meister. Yeah, I mean, you can run the KS1 on 120 as well. It's only 600 watts. Actually, you can do that on the KS2 as well, as long as it's a 20 amp breaker. But let me see, what the hell was I just gonna say? Where is it? Oh, the how loud is the KS1? Somebody asked. The KS1, to be honest, I would be absolutely shocked if it was much louder than the KS0. They don't get that hot. They're only 600 watts. You know what I mean?
Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Jordan Smith. Major cryptocurrencies headed lower to close out the week, with Bitcoin dropping about 1.5% over the past 24 hours. It's back below $36,000. Ether sinking more than 4.5% to $1,900, and Solana also giving up more than 11% after a rally on Wednesday pushed it above $60. We pull back and look at the week. We got a bunch of news around Bitcoin and Ether ETFs, but it wasn't enough to keep the momentum for the crypto market. Bitcoin fell around 4% in the past 7 days. Ether tumbled more than 8.5%. Solana, though, is a bright spot for the market. It's still up more than 6.5% on the week.
Real quick. All right. So let me see. In the chat, we have Crypto KJ said, I saw this morning that OC guys are gearing up to OC the KS0 Pro 300 gigahashes unit incoming. That would be sick. That would be sick. So I just got actually the firmware update from T-Swift, and I'm going to see if it works on my original KS0 that couldn't take the overclocks for the 140 or the 160. It's only running at 120 right now. I want to see if his firmware could do anything different. We're just going to give it a shot a little later today. I'll probably just do a video on it, but that was that's one thing I wanted to do. I mean, yeah, it's not out of the realm of possibilities that those units, after we saw them yesterday, if you don't know, Red Panda Mining ripped open his KS0, and the amount of chips that are in there, apparently it's the same chips as the KS3. So I would be stunned if they couldn't figure out an overclock for that as well. And Mr. Steven Cicero, that unit does get stupid hot. That little laptop brick, bad idea. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make a video on it as well, because I have to do it for myself. So I got they sell little barrel connectors that have a positive and my negative side, right? And you can put them, basically just cut the ends off your 6 pins and wire them on and right on a server PSU. So that's going to be my plan. You guys, let me know if anybody's done that here in the chat, but I'm running one off of a, like the little grid seed miner unit that I have right now. Hold on. Got this right here. So like I got these with the grid seed miners that I bought for like off Facebook Marketplace. They got like little I don't know, you kind of see the little ports there. The guy already had them wired up with like these barrel connectors. Let's see. So these barrel connectors, you could use these too instead of cutting the 6 pins, but gonna block my eyes. This is like so hard to hold. But you can see a little barrel connector, right? Got 2 wires, positive, negative. That's what I have running my KS0s right now off of this thing right here on the floor next to me. So it's a little bit more wattage because this unit is only 120 volts. It's not a 240 volt PSU. But yeah, it's pulling like 20 more watts than it should realistically through the 120 volts with those 2 units, but whatever, take it as you will. All right. I just bought 20 KS0 Pros, getting them 28 terahashes this month. Wait, what? What? Luke, what are you saying? What are you saying? Agree about the KS1 versus the KS0. What are you saying? You 28 terahashes this month. What's that mean? Do you have other units already? And if you just bought 20 KS0, dude, you have too much money. I don't even want to talk to you. Get away from me.
All right, let's get to the latest headlines. Payments giant MasterCard thinks widespread adoption of central bank digital currencies might be a ways off. The company's blockchain and digital assets lead for Asia Pacific spoke to CNBC at Singapore's FinTech Festival, and he said there's not enough justification for the widespread use of CBDCs, which makes broad adoption of them, quote, difficult. He stressed that if someone has CBDCs in their wallet, they should have the ability to spend them anywhere they want, just like cash. The International Monetary Fund has said that CBDCs...
Oh, the 28th, not 28 terahash. Yes, sorry. I'm locked into like mining brain right now. That's why. All right. Never mind. Luke, you make more sense now.
...are a, quote, safe and low-cost alternative to cash. He also noted that a lot of the central banks have gotten innovative because they're working closely with private firms like MasterCard. But since consumers are so comfortable with today's type of money, there isn't enough justification yet to have a CBDC. Next, 3 men have been charged for allegedly participating in a complex scheme to steal more than $10 million from nearly a dozen U.S. banks and financial institutions. Authorities say that money was laundered through foreign crypto exchanges. According to this announcement yesterday from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, the 3 have been arrested and face a slew of charges, including bank fraud conspiracy and money laundering conspiracy. In a statement, U.S. Attorney Damian Williams said these charges should serve as a warning to fraudsters and cybercriminals who think they can turn to cryptocurrency to hide their identities. Last, after about half a year of public input, the global standard setter for securities regulation published its crypto markets policy recommendations. According to CoinDesk, the International Organization of Securities Commissions, or IOSCO, denied crypto industry requests for a bespoke regime for stablecoins, but agreed to demands for greater accountability from financial influencers. The recommendations were published yesterday after a consultation period that started back in May. The goal, establishing a coordinated global regulatory response to the risks presented by crypto asset service providers among the group's members. Those risks include market manipulation, insider trading and fraud, conflicts of interest, as well as client asset protection.
Yeah, Greater Good Mining did a great job. DJ Mines just said Greater Good Mining, a hero, spent 16K on a KS1, got to be worth 60K now. Yeah, for sure. You made a freaking killing off of that unit, 100%. I was going to say something. I totally forget the hell you guys were talking about in the chat. Let me, I might pause this interview. We're going to see.
All right, sticking with crypto regulation for our main story, Crypto World's Talia Kaplan sat down with Rebecca Reddick, the Chief Policy and Legal Officer at Polygon Labs, to discuss regulatory advancements abroad and in the U.S. She weighs in on which region is winning the race when it comes to crypto regulation and explains what lawmakers in the U.S. should prioritize following the trial of Sam Bankman-Fried.
Greater Good, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Hey, real quick, so DJ Mines, actually, this is what I was going to mention, has a video out. He did one last night. He had, like, was it the developers, DJ? Is that who you were sitting with? I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken. But regardless, listening to that, like, little AMA you guys had with them, that was unreal. It opened my eyes to Kaspa, like, tenfold, easy. So, like, yeah, FOMO was real last night. So the way I got my KS Zeros, I actually swapped all of my flux into USDC and then bought KS Zeros with it because I'm not using the flux anyways, just sitting there, you know what I mean? So it was the best move for me. But the thing I wanted to mention was I use Simple Swap, okay? Kaspa, I had to supplement a few bucks with Kaspa, right? So I Simple swapped Kaspa to USDC and Flux to USDC. Flux took 3 goddamn hours to swap, okay? Kaspa took 5 minutes. 5 minutes. It was absurd. I was literally up till 2 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning, getting that transaction situated because I started it at like, it was like 11:30 when I started it, and it took 3 freaking hours. It was the most miserable freaking 3 hours of my life. I was gonna make a troll video like me doing jumping jacks, running around the room, just waiting for this shit to go through. It was absurd though. But Kaspa, after I saw the utility last night firsthand, I was like, this is no way this shit ain't gonna be huge. There's no way. That's just my opinion. But you guys let me know what you think about it. All right, let's do it.
I want to focus this conversation on regulation, especially because you spend so much time in DC meeting with policymakers and regulatory authorities. And speaking about crypto, I can imagine that a big goal is to educate them, but I'm wondering how effective are these conversations, and is it proving to really inform them and educate them about this nascent industry?
That lady is sitting so straight. Like, I feel bad about myself right now.
It is, and I would say the industry has been working on education for many years to the point where there are certain policymakers in DC and members of Congress who are really conversant with the technology, what it means, all the catchphrases we all know and use. And I will say we just did a crypto policy boot camp a few weeks ago. in conjunction with the Solana Foundation, to also educate founders, investors, and others in the space about how to go out, educate, and engage on the Hill and with policymakers in the US as well.
Can you take us through how crypto regulation is enforced right now here in the US? Obviously, we've seen a lot of regulation by enforcement, with agencies like the SEC going after crypto companies, including Coinbase, which was sued by the agency back in June. What do you think about regulation by enforcement? Is that the right approach, or is more of a comprehensive framework needed?
I think it's unquestionable that a more comprehensive framework is needed. And we have that from Congress, both in the form of the Fit for the 21st Century Act, which made it out of 2 subcommittees in the House on a bipartisan basis, and with the stablecoin bill that also made it out of 2 House committees on a bipartisan basis. And I think that that's even been acknowledged, and that it's been moving forward even just out of committee is really important. But I also think that crypto is not unregulated in the United States. A lot of the centralized players are licensed as money services businesses, have money transmission licenses throughout the states, and are really working to work within the current regulatory framework, at least when they're involved in centralized crypto asset activities.
Now, you beat me to it, but obviously we have seen some regulatory advancements here in the US, including the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act, or the Fit for the 21st Century Act, as you just noted. But do you think that's enough? What do you make of those developments? Do you think more needs to be done?
I do think that's enough if it really moves forward in a meaningful way. Fit for the 21st Century is looking to be very comprehensive for centralized crypto asset players and for crypto issuance in the United States, and really split regulation between the SEC and the CFTC. Much of Fit for the 21st Century mirrors what is called the Markets in Crypto Asset Regulation, or MiCA, in Europe, which is also a very comprehensive law for centralized crypto asset activity and token issuance as well in the EU. So I do think that that's a great first step, and it's incredibly comprehensive. So in terms of what's more, as I said, we also have money transmission licenses and other certain types of licenses, which does cover certain types of centralized crypto asset activity.
Real quick, 100 Air in the chat said, looking at her eyes, I'm guessing she's been glued to CoinGecko all last night. I mean, if you weren't glued to CoinGecko and just staring at the price of Kaspa all day yesterday, I don't know what to tell you, but I mean, I was there too. So FOMO is real, people. FOMO is real.
Do you think the Fit for the 21st Century Act will actually get approved?
I think there are a lot of priorities in Congress right now, and I'm not sure if crypto is the primary one or moving FIT. I do know that Chair McHenry is very motivated to move FIT, certainly out of committee and onto the House floor. And I'm hopeful that, to your original point about education, that there's been enough education that people understand why having regulation in the US is at least something very important to consider for the crypto industry.
Now, you mentioned MiCA. We have seen a lot of regulatory advancements overseas in places like the EU, as well as Singapore, Dubai. MiCA was the first comprehensive framework for crypto regulation in the world. What stood out to you in that framework? And do you think there's anything from that framework that lawmakers here in the US should perhaps take and incorporate into a bill here in America?
Great question. MiCA was born out of the concept of Libra. And the idea that if you were going to have something new that was supposed to act like money, you at least needed to have regulation around it. So MiCA started back in about 2017, 2018, and we just saw it pass, 4 or 5 years later. I think there's a lot to take from it. First, that you really should be looking at centralized crypto asset activity as a primary place to begin with creating a regulatory framework, right? We know how to regulate centralized financial type of activity. So I think that's one part of MiCA that's really, really promising and important. It does exempt services that happen in a fully decentralized manner. So MiCA doesn't touch DeFi, and it also doesn't touch NFTs now. And I think that's a really important takeaway for everybody who's thinking about crypto asset regulation, because this is extraordinarily novel, a lot of innovation, and does not, as I said before, sort of fit in the traditional framework that we think of when you think of centralized economic/crypto activity.
It's important to note that MiCA is expected to take effect next year.
That's right.
But what region would you say wins the race, so to speak, in terms of crypto regulation? Is it the EU?
I don't think it is the EU. I think there's been some interesting information that right after MiCA passed, there was a lot more VC investment in crypto businesses in the EU, but I don't think we've seen that all take off as much as everybody has expected. I do think that Circle has started creating a headquarters in France, and I think other Coinbase and others are looking to also find EU type homes as well, but I don't think that everybody is going to pick up and move to the EU. I am hopeful that the US really takes a lead here to make sure that there is a good framework to continue building out this industry, but I actually think that Asia, which has actually been engaged in crypto asset regulation for longer than people have even talked about. Japan has had good regulations for centralized crypto asset exchanges for a long time, may actually win the race long term.
Do you think it's
real quick? Everyone's talking about Trade Ogre, or some people were talking about Trade Ogre in the chat. Mr. DJ Mines and Chlor AI and a couple AI coins are pumping, right? Neura AI. I don't know what's been going on with Trade Ogre and Kaspa lately, but I know a lot of people's funds are locked up and it's kind of messed up. So I don't know. I honestly can't recommend using them until that shit gets settled. Does anybody have Kaspa locked up in Trade Ogre? You can't get out. I'm just wondering. I don't have any there, but I've heard people can't withdraw it. So I don't know what's going on. It used to be amazing until they ruined it. So yeah, I don't know. Sucks.
Too late for the US to catch up to the rest of the world as it pertains to crypto regulation?
No, I really don't. I see the surprise on your face. The US has been the home for innovation for a very long time, and particularly with Web 2. People do see this as an important market and an important place to build out technological activity. As I said, Asia is also extremely attractive, Dubai as well, including with their really great regulatory framework that they've been putting together. So there's certainly a race right now, but I don't think anybody will count the US out, particularly with the fact that there are 2 bills, at least, that have been out there and have passed out of committee.
What do you think lawmakers here in the US should be focused on now, especially following several scandals and bankruptcies, including the collapse of FTX, which was put back into the spotlight recently with the trial of its founder, Sam Bankman-Fried? Of course, that resulted in a guilty verdict. But what do you think lawmakers can do to restore the trust that was lost following events like the collapse of FTX?
I think it goes back to your initial question about education. I think they need to educate themselves fully to understand how this industry works. I think, to your point, there have been lots of headlines that grab people's attention, many of which aren't based in facts or are really meant to be clickbait in a number of ways. And I understand why that is interesting. And I think there's been a narrative around crypto for a long time that it's, used for illicit purposes or not meant to really be something that's part of our everyday lives. But crypto is part of people's everyday lives now. And I think understanding that, accepting it, and seeing how the technology works and how the ecosystem has been built out, both from centralized players, what DeFi is, NFTs, and understanding that will allow lawmakers to put things in place that allow this ecosystem to grow responsibly in the US.
So going back,
or we could just fire Gary Gensler and solve everything. We have Mr. Luke in the chat actually asked a question. He said, can the KS0 Pro run on 240 or does it have to be 110? That depends on the PSU. It's not like the PSUs dumb it down to 12 volts anyways, so it doesn't make a damn difference what you're running off of as long as the PSU can handle it. Don't plug a 110 into a 240. You're gonna see a nice little pop, and it's probably not gonna be too fun.
Back to the trial of Sam Bankman-Fried, we recently got that guilty verdict. I'm wondering, as a former litigator, what was your reaction to that and the quick deliberations and the fact that the jury deliberated in just, I think it was 3 hours or so?
It's pretty rare that a jury comes back that quickly, having done a number of trials. In my former life, juries do not come back that decisively on multiple counts unless they are quite sure. And it was, I think, says a lot about how the trial went and how forceful the prosecution's case was. But I also think U.S. Attorney Damian Williams really said it best when they were waiting for the jury. He said, it's not about crypto, and this is not about Sam Bankman-Fried. This is about a tale as old of time of financial fraud. And I think that's what we all thought when it happened. And I think it's true to this day as well, that it's really not about the industry, but it's much more about
100%.
A traditional fraud.
It's about bad actors, not about the industry. And that's, they're painting in a shitty light, and that's pretty ridiculous. But anyways, guys, hit that like button. 117 people here. We have 46 likes. I know we can get at least to 50. Just 4 more. That's all I asked for. All right, let's just answer some questions in the chat. So Mr. Andrew Masad asked, do you know if Kaspa can be swapped to LTC on TradeOgre? I think you have to swap everything on TradeOgre to BTC. That's like one thing I've noticed. It always is whatever it is to BTC, and then you can swap BTC to, you know, USDC or whatever. You can't like go, from what I've noticed anyways, can't go between coins. It's always been one thing to one thing, and that's it. So it's everything to BTC and BTC to everything else. You know what I mean? That's, I don't know. It's just an extra step. It's stupid. I'm not really a huge fan of TradeOgre, to be honest, but it was just simple for like one trade. Other than that, to get my Kaspa, what I did was just, I ended up simple swapping it, and it was, you know, no pun intended, but it was simple. That's really right in the name. So anyways, all right, let's get into this. This is Sam Altman. He, the OpenAI co-founder, Greg Brockman, reportedly quits after Sam Altman's departure. I didn't know he left OpenAI. And my biggest question is, you remember that blue backpack, like the kill switch that he'd carry around with him for the OpenAI, like ChatGPT bullshit? What happens now? Who's got the backpack? Like, I'm so terrified about that. I don't know if you guys are, but it's freaking weird to me. Hit the wrong button. There we go. All right, let's get into this. Hit that like button, guys. Appreciate you. Let's do it.
For more on Altman's departure and what it means to the AI arms race, let's bring in Deepwater Asset Management Managing Partner Gene Munster, who joins us on the phone. Gene, appreciate the time. It sounds like you were as shocked as anyone.
Definitely, Carl. I was shocked, and then as I stepped back and thought about it, maybe we should have kind of seen this coming. And as Debra said in the segment, her comments before, and what you said, lots of speculation here, but just taking a big picture step back is that Sam Altman has the golden hand when it comes to running companies right now in tech. And separately is that there was rumors a few weeks ago of him something with Johnny Ive, whether that has any factor in here, but the concept that he was kind of shopping around and looking around. And then you have this fundraising, this next round that they're going to raise. So they're going to price around. They can't go and price an $80 billion plus round that's up 20, 30 billion from the previous round, and then all of a sudden announce that Sam Altman's going in a different direction. So my guess is that's the mechanism that forced this. And again, it's all speculation. What's safe to say is that this is, any way you cut it, it's egg on the face of Microsoft. Is Sam Altman's been kind of the fun guy at the party that's really reinvigorated Microsoft from a pretty stale brand in the eyes of tech investors to the most exciting company. And now that he's exiting stage left, I think that there's definitely a gap to be filled.
Right. If it in fact is a liability for Microsoft, Gene, is it an opening for Google and Bard?
You know, I think that this is this particular event. It could be. This is a talent race. It's curious to see how it plays out. Mira Murati, who's stepping in, I met her a few years ago when she was at Leap Motion, which was a startup. It didn't work out, but she is a rock star. And so I think it really comes down to keeping talent together. And this is, I can just imagine that there's going to be some movement around talent related to this because Sam Altman was just such a charismatic figure at the company.
What do you think it does to the trajectory of the overall innovation, right, of artificial intelligence? And by extension, do you think it raises further suspicions among regulators who might already be skeptical?
Well, again, we're filling in making some pretty big guesses about why he's leaving here. I would say that ultimately is that I'm going to take the path that he has something else that he's working on. And in that case, it's going to be something AI related. So I think as an industry perspective, he's at the most exciting company, and he presumably is going to be doing something that's more exciting. So I think that that's just going to kind of continue to fuel some of the excitement around that. And in terms of regulation, I think that the industry is still at the forefront of regulation. I mean, there's going to be a lot more of that coming when it comes to AI. And so maybe what he's doing has something to do with regulating the AI and coming out with a different type of a model that plays into that. Hard to say, but I think that what is clear is that the tech industry is reeling after this, and that's what I'm going to be spending the weekend doing is trying to figure out where he's going.
Yeah. At this moment, how would you characterize Altman's legacy, which we're betting is not done by a long shot? But what do you think history is going to say if we even were to stop now about what he's brought to technology in the future?
Can this guy please ask about the backpack? Because I'm really concerned about it.
Well, I'm going to take the road that there wasn't anything that was negative that caused it. If you take it from here, is that he's kind of the father of AI, I think, in a lot of people's minds, and this is a much bigger transition than the internet. And so I wouldn't put Al Gore as the father of the internet, but I think that there's some he's a top 10 tech icon at this point. And so as far as his legacy, I think it's still going to be based in AI. But if this was kind of the end of the road, I think he would just go down as the person who really brought AI to the masses.
And it's almost poetic, Gene, that we're in a week where we just got Microsoft's Ignite conference and literally
Amazing.
dozens and dozens of new product announcements, and the expectation on the street of getting hundreds of more announcements in the quarters to come, and a better picture of how those use cases are going to get monetized.
Yeah, this is, again, not the right time for this to happen for Microsoft. And, Satya is saying that everything is on track, but there's going to be some slippage there. But, yeah, and put that on top of the OpenAI Dev Day that was just about 2 weeks ago, really remarkable, and it's definitely going to have a jarring effect on AI.
Does this further headline about Greg Brockman add anything to the mix in your view?
I don't know. I presume there was some goodwill there, and maybe he had some information that both him and Sam had that they weren't sharing. So I don't much to read into it beyond that. It's really secondary to what Sam's doing.
Yeah, obviously it's difficult to have the conversation with the limited knowledge that we have, but the headlines keep coming tonight.
Dude, that's crazy. That's crazy that he just kind of dipped out like that. Real quick. So this is the backpack thing I was talking about. Sam Altman always carries around the nuclear backpack. He can use to remotely detonate data centers if ChatGPT goes rogue, basically, or just GPT, right? The AI. Isn't that crazy? Who has that now? Who has it? That's what I want to know, because that's terrifying. If that's just we're just gonna not worry about that no more. Don't worry about it. We'll just put that off to the side. It can do whatever it wants. F it. All right, let's get into Altcoin Daily's video 2. Bitcoin ETFs delayed, as you guys might already know. Move forward with Ethereum ETF. Let's see what happens here with Mr. Austin from Altcoin Daily. Guys, hit that like button. Appreciate you. If you have any questions, at me in the chat.
Breaking news. Smash the like button if you appreciate us coming at you on a Friday. To clue you into this, the SEC has officially delayed the $1.5 trillion asset manager Franklin Templeton's spot Bitcoin ETF application. This date was marked on our calendars. You can see Franklin Bitcoin ETF. You can see this date marked on our calendars here. In addition,
hold on, before we get into that, Mr. Rex, you had to pay $8.99 for the miner for tariffs on top of that. What did you pay for the miner? Let me see. I'm trying to scroll back and see. Sorry, my kids bombarded the stream, as you guys could tell. Let me see. What did you pay for the actual unit? Man, you paid $9.25 in tariffs for the D9, DJ. What? The free D9 that you won? You got hit with tariffs for that? That's terrible. I would be no, send that shit back. Just give me the money. Give me a credit. I'll put it to something, something else. That's crazy, man. That's absolutely crazy.
Look at this. Global X's spot Bitcoin ETF application delayed as well. A comment period is beginning on this one. They have 35 days, taking us into late December for the SEC to review comments.
Yeah, free.
You can see that this one was marked on our calendars as well, and actually the SEC ended up delaying it a few days early. In addition, Bitcoin daily momentum is drying up. Analyst Crypto Rover says, I think we remain to trade between $38,000 and $35,000 for the coming 2 months. After the news hits the market that the ETFs get accepted, we will enter the next range.
That is such bullshit that they can charge you like that. Serial, is that how you say your name? I bought a KS0 in July when it was $1,100. I paid $291 in tariffs. Man, tariffs are so awful. That is so awful. And I better not get hit with it. I was told I wasn't going to get hit with tariffs, so we're going to find out.
And that's the question. And this is my question to you. Do you think there's still a 90% chance that spot Bitcoin ETFs will get accepted by January 10th. January 10th is the final deadline for ARK Invest's spot Bitcoin
coming,
ETF.
people.
Now, the analysts have been saying for days, and subscribe to our channel, we show you this kind of stuff. They've been saying, okay, we're nearing in on deadline dates for 3 spot Bitcoin ETF applications. I want to get ahead of it because there's a pretty good chance we'll see delay orders from the SEC. This is what we saw. This is what we saw. What's the takeaway? Delays would not, will not change anything about our views. 90% chance spot Bitcoin ETF applications are accepted by January 10th.
I assume they'll be accepted by January 10th. I don't think they'd push them off that much further. But real quick, Big Black in the chat said, when do you pay tariffs? So DHL, typically when you have to get shipped or something shipped to you from them, they give you like you have to fill out all this like not information, but you got to give them like your email, your phone number, and they'll end up calling you if you owe tariffs. They will not deliver to your house. They will call you and state that you have to pay X amount, and you pay over the phone, credit card, whatever. I mean, you know what's kind of sketchy though now that I think about it? There's really no way to verify that it's DHL and you're sitting there paying them over the phone. Yeah, that was pretty risky, actually. I had to do that for the mini doges. I just literally just hit me that was probably not the best thing to do. But I mean, I guess, I don't know. How else do you tell? It's just caller ID. You know, it says DHL. So whatever. Anyways, yeah, you got to pay them and they will not even deliver it to your house. And if you ship it back, they will just take the shipping fee out of your return, if I'm not mistaken, if you get your return at all from like these big companies like Bitmain or whatever. It's such bullshit. It is so stupid, but whatever. Big man wants his money, and that's how it always is, right? We're just fucking peons. That's how it goes.
Big 1/10/2024. I see so many people being fooled. I hope it's not you, because I've been seeing many comments in our comment section on our videos saying that a spot Bitcoin ETF will do nothing for price.
Also, real quick, Black Hack said, Chump Change, will the KS0 Pro have that? No, it shouldn't, because it's under $600. If it's over $600, that's when they hit you with tariffs. That I've seen anyways. But yeah, I don't know.
This is Michael Sonnenschein, him, CEO at Grayscale Investments. Grayscale is one of the big ones waiting spot ETF approval. Is a Bitcoin spot ETF really the savior for price that we all think it is? What if no new money enters? Isn't that a possibility? He really spells it out here. Listen, I wish more people understood this.
The premise behind...
Well, I mean, so I thought it was over 750, says Steven Cicero in the chat. I'm pretty positive it's 600 because I remember buying, I think it was 2 mini doges for just over 600 bucks. Maybe it was a little more. And they valued them at 300 a piece. And because the lady told me because it went over the 600, that's why I got hit with tariffs. So if they just valued them at like 200 a piece, I would have been fine. But Bitmain's a bunch of dicks and they just want your money. That's how it goes.
Behind the rise in Bitcoin is that an ETF is going to be approved by the SEC, and all of a sudden everybody's going to want to be in it. There's going to be a lot of buying of Bitcoin, et cetera. Why should we believe that new money will be attracted into Bitcoin once an ETF is approved, as opposed to capital being reallocated within the Bitcoin universe?
It's a great question. You know, today, without having spot Bitcoin ETFs in the market, there is nearly $30 trillion of advised wealth in the U.S. just alone that needs access to crypto, that needs access to Bitcoin, and by and large hasn't had access to it. So the onset of Bitcoin ETFs, spot Bitcoin ETFs, will really open the door to financial advisors, advised wealth, really to have the opportunity to participate in Bitcoin in a way that they really haven't had before.
And he was just speaking about the wealth markets. What about the institutions? Surely institutions prefer ETFs too, right?
So you talked a little bit about the wealth market and the interest there. What are you seeing from the institutional market? Are you seeing continued demand, especially given what we just talked about with rates?
I think that the introduction of the spot Bitcoin ETF will allow for institutions to participate as well. What's been interesting about crypto, as opposed to other asset classes that came along before it, it was usually institutions who had access first, and then it eventually trickled its way down to retail. In the case of crypto, it went to retail first, and institutions by and large haven't been able to participate, and certainly having regulated instruments like ETFs will allow them to participate.
By the way, make sure you subscribe to our channel.
That's actually a really good point. But again, as I always advocate and tell you guys, like, You know, self-custody is probably the best way to hold crypto. I mean, not probably, it definitely is the best way to hold your crypto in a hardware wallet versus going to buy an ETF, because at the end of the day, BlackRock's going to control all the crypto that they hold, right? They're just going to have a little piece of paper that says, trust me, bro, this is how much you own, and that's it. That's how the ETF's going to work, but whatever, take it as you will.
Channel daily videos just like this, keeping you informed on the entire cryptocurrency market. If you're interested in making money in cryptocurrency, subscribe to our channel, daily videos. Now, it's important to note, and again, most people aren't talking about this. We are. BlackRock is continuing their application process to get that spot Ethereum ETF as well. So 1 week ago, BlackRock registered its iShares Ethereum Trust with Delaware's Division of Corporations. Today, we have a continuation. BlackRock filed a Form S-1 with US SEC again for their spot Ethereum ETF. In 2024, do you think Bitcoin's ETF gets approved and Ethereum's ETF gets approved? Or do you think one or the other? Or what are you thinking? This is how I see it. In my opinion, this is a realistic scenario. Now, the bullish scenario would be that it plays out just like Canada. ETH ETF gets approved shortly after Bitcoin ETF is approved, just like with Canada. But this is my realistic scenario. The SEC will most likely deny BlackRock's Ethereum ETF application and others. Keep reading, like, retweet so others understand this. Think about it. The Bitcoin spot ETF applications continue to get denied. Why wouldn't ETHs? Gary Gensler.
Real quick in the chat, what Broski says, but isn't the US dollar a trust me, bro? Because it's not backed by anything. I mean, it's kind of a trust me, bro. But DJ Mine says the US dollar is backed by tanks, helicopters, and the Air Force. I wouldn't call it nothing.
Gensler wants to give Ethereum an even harder time than he's given Bitcoin, even though Ethereum is a commodity. Here's the bottom line. If that happens, Ethereum ETF application denial, that might be a good buying opportunity, as just like with Bitcoin, the SEC will have to approve the ETH ETF eventually. It might even play out where the Bitcoin ETF gets approved in 2024, but the SEC still continues to deny an Ethereum ETF for a bit.
They could do that, actually. That's actually not out of the realm of possibilities. If they can continue to push off the Bitcoin, well, they continued to push off the Bitcoin ETF as far as they already have, there's no reason they can't stretch out the Ethereum one. But the thing that, like, I think will really affect things is if they don't approve all of the companies at once. I think that would be very detrimental to, like, all of the other companies. Say if BlackRock was the only one that got it first, then everything would just be absolutely effed. That's just my opinion. Let's see real quick in the chat. Kazuma said, question, do you think that when the ETF released politics will regulate crypto and shut down exchanges for retail to buy and sell BTC for USDT? No, I don't think so. No, it's just, they're just going to control as much as they can. They're like, BlackRock's already in, they've already, you know, invested in 4 out of the top 5 mining facilities in the world. Like they want to more or less print their own money, and that's what BlackRock's going to go to. They're not going to stop us from using the exchanges, because how do you think they sell it? You know what I mean? Like, that's how they offload as well. It's simple that way, and it's legal for them to do it that way. Do you know what I mean? So there's no reason for them to get rid of the exchanges, in my opinion, but that's just me.
Certainly exciting times. What do you think will happen? Do you think a spot Ethereum ETF is inevitable, or how do you think about it? If BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF gets approved first, I could easily see something like this happening. Blockchain Boy, his analysis here, I think this is a likely possibility if the Bitcoin spot ETF gets approved first. And we have to wait for the Ethereum ETF.
Going forward into the next bull run, I think that Bitcoin is going to lead the charge by a large, wide majority, because right now you have the spot ETF pending approval. BlackRock pretty much is going to get that.
Your odds for a Bitcoin spot ETF to pass is 575 to 1 odds. It's 99.9% chance of passing.
One thing I want to talk about with the spot ETF is the effect that this is going to have on the actual supply and demand of Bitcoin. They're going to be removing a massive amount of the supply off of exchanges, new Bitcoins being minted. A spot ETF is going to be essentially like having 5 to 6 halvings at one time, sparking what could be the largest Bitcoin bull run by volume that we've ever seen. And so that,
you know what, that's a really good point.
much volume could impact the price of Bitcoin in a way we've never seen.
Now,
I mean, I don't want to say definitely because nobody knows what's a sure thing in crypto, but if I'm not mistaken, we're going to see a disgusting pump in the market as soon as these ETFs happen, because you got to think now institutional investors can all get in. Now, you know, your grandmother's 401k financial advisor guy will be like, hey, you want to put some money in Bitcoin, like this Bitcoin ETF? We could just add it to your, you know, your retirement plan, whatever. Like, why not? You know what I mean? Why the hell wouldn't you? It's like the most appreciated asset of all time. Literally, it is grown the most exponentially out of anything.
Just get some breaking news. I don't know.
DJ,
does this change your thesis? Fidelity, like BlackRock, is doubling down on crypto. They just filed for an Ethereum ETF. Needless to say, this is bullish for Ethereum. Fidelity wants to create an Ethereum ETF, joining BlackRock in doubling down on crypto. Both Fidelity and BlackRock want to list both Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. Again, I remind you that spot ETFs, in this case holding Bitcoin and Ethereum, the biggest cryptocurrencies in the world, according to analysts, according to optimists, will dramatically shake up the cryptocurrency space. In theory, will bring a flood of new investment money into digital assets, particularly with the market heft of famous firms like Fidelity and BlackRock. My friends, subscribe to the channel. Feel free to watch these
Shout out to Altcoin
type
Daily
videos that pop up
this.
on our homepage here.
Yeah, he just talks about his channel for the rest of it. So shout out to him, guys. Go make sure you like and subscribe. I got the full description, or video link rather, in the description below. All right, let's get back to this stuff. So let's talk about some more mining shit. I know we're kind of towards the end, but I want to get back to it. Just talking about this, like, what do you guys think? We have about 10 more minutes before we raid Crypto Mikhail, or 15 minutes or so. So what do you guys think? Like, is it worth getting into miners versus buying the coin right now? Personally, like, what is your opinion in the chat? I really want to know. Dude, that's not how ETFs work. The only way the market pumps is if the issuer hasn't already accumulated the asset. When the ETF is issued, there is no additional crypto bought. But that's not true, Max, because if they don't have enough to go around, then guess what? They need to buy more themselves to back it. You just got fucking schooled. I love giving Max shit. Love giving him shit. There's two sides of it, right? Like, yes, Max, you're right in a sense, but if people purchase more than they have, then they have to buy more. Like, there's no way around that. That's a fact. You know, I bought $500 worth of Kaspa in a KSO. Let's see what happens. Sustainable crypto. You know what? So I ended up swapping. So Simple Swap, if you guys don't know, I do have an affiliate code down in the description below, I think. If I don't, whatever, it is what it is. But this takes like 5 minutes. Like, it was so fast with Kaspa. I couldn't even believe it. But I simple swapped into Kaspa. So I took personally, it was like, I think it was $7,700 in just like random coins that I had in different places, right? Combined them, threw them all into this, got Kaspa when it was like 4 cents, and I was like, sweet, all right, I'll just hold to see what happens. If it goes down, whatever, is what it is. This shit was just in my wallets anyways, and it's like 20 grand right now. So it was a great move in my opinion. I mean, obviously, you know, financially it's a great move, but it's just, I don't know, it's worth taking a risk. Well, in a sense, like a calculated risk, if you can afford to do that, right? But what Mr. Geek of all trades says, some of the most hillbilly shit you'll ever hear, gotta risk it to get the biscuit. That's what he says. So it's one of those things, man. I don't know, it's just I honestly can't believe how good Kaspa's doing personally. And after I saw the utility of the unit last night, or the coin last night, actually using it to buy what I wanted to buy was unreal. It was so fast. Like, I can't even, I was so mad about Flux. It took 3 hours to swap it. 3 hours. It was stupid. Like, stupid. I did 2 transactions of Kaspa before the Flux even came through, just because I knew I was going to need more. And I lost $100 in that 3 hours. That was another thing. Like, I got hit because the fucking time took forever, and then the market obviously took a little bit of a shit, and my bag went to $100 less than it was worth. It was just, yeah, that's kind of why, like, I don't know. If you guys didn't see DJ's interview yesterday, it was just fantastic. It really was. I honestly cannot say anything else. Let me see if I can go to it. It honestly made me just straight fangirl Kaspa 100%. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. It was pretty terrible. I was watching it and I'm like, oh god, I want more Kaspa right now. And the reason, like I said, this is the round table. I don't know these guys. Rubarbarian, I think his name is, Nate Bubblegum, and is it Chris Wolf?
Take that weight away. We want this.
Can't see it. Let me just mute it real quick. But if you guys want to watch this, I ain't gonna rip off DJ because he's my buddy. We have yeah, go check this out. This made me fangirl hard on Kaspa, and I'm not gonna lie, it was ridiculous. And to know that the meaning behind Kaspa, which was kind of neat. I actually did know this, but I've never really talked about it. So Kaspa, I guess, was like what did he say? Ancient, like I forget what he said. It wasn't Arabic, was it? I can't remember. But anyways, it means silver. It means silver somewhere. And the logo was actually like designed to look like an old coin. Like, you know how old coins weren't really round, they were rough around the edges and just all kind of misshapen. And like, that's why they wanted it to be, you know, the symbol, because they wanted it to represent the actual old silver coins. And it was Arabic. Okay, I was right. So yeah, that's it was just freaking neat. I don't know. So I see the value in this with the speed that it has. The speed is everything, and this interview explained it all to me. So if you guys haven't seen this, go check it out. I just put a link in the chat. I'll put it down in the description below too as well, if you guys are interested. But it's definitely something to listen to after you guys go through your morning streams and all that. But I still want to know, what do you guys like? What would you do right now in your situation? And if anybody's just joining, looking at these, right? So I wanted to put this point out there because I think it's like, it's honestly a steal and it's a no-brainer to me, but like, I didn't realize it until last night when I was looking at prices. So the KS1, I think, what was it? I don't even know. Regardless, it was 5 times the amount of the KS0s. Okay, so I could get 5 KS0s that end up costing me a little bit less than the KS1 did, right? It's 100 watts less for the KS0s, 5 of them, because they only run at 100 watts. As you can see, 200 gigahash is 100 watts. That unit is 600 watts at 1 terahash. So 5 times 200 is 1 terahash, and it's only 500 watts. So you're saving 100 watts there. The profitability on the machine itself, so we could just do it again. Actually, I already did this, but if you look at, let's see. Where are we at, actually? KS0. Where did it go? Right here. 549. So 5.49 times 5, right? 27.45 a day. The KS1, you're only getting 27.21. So you're making a couple more cents by getting the KS0s. And on top of it, I personally think that they'll be a lot easier to sell in the bull run. Smaller units are just easier to offload. That's at least my opinion. Because like, Joe Schmo wants to get into freaking, you know, crypto mining, but he doesn't want to spend like his entire bank wad on a freaking ASIC. Like, I'm in this for a while and I still don't want to spend that much on an ASIC. That's just me, but it's true, right? It's true. And also I could throw these in the trailer, run them off solar or whatever. Like, it's just, it makes sense for me to get the KS0s, KS0 Pros anyways. So I don't know. I bought 5 last night, so I'll have 7 total. I'll have 6 Pros and 1 OG KS0. I am going to try to do the T-Swift firmware today on the KS0. My KS0 would only get, you know what, let me see. I'll just pull it up if I can. It would only get 120 hashes. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I don't want to show that on stream right now. But the, yeah, it would only get 120 gigahash with the firmware update. So I'm going to try the new firmware update that Mr. T-Swift had and provided. So shout out to him for providing me with that to give it a shot to see if it would even work. And it should get up to like 175 gigahashes, which would be amazing. So it would be real close to another KS0 Pro. So I'm excited about that. But let me see what you guys are saying in the chat, because I totally have been just missing it. All right. You effed me up. Now I gotta ask Hawk for a KS0F. Why did I F you up? What do you mean? Oh, because it's like, it makes sense. Does it make sense? It does, right? I don't know, it's kind of a no-brainer, man. For 100 watts, like, you can't really go wrong. I mean, yeah, granted, you might need to put a fan on it, and it depends on your situation where it's in, but like, I don't know. I mean, what I would personally do though, like, I wouldn't, yeah, I FOMO'd in hard last night. Like, I couldn't freaking sleep. I was up till 2:30 getting that flux swap through so I could pay for these freaking units because I just wanted them. And just to be done with it. So I got those 5 units last night. Again, it took 3 hours to swap flux. I swapped Kaspa in 5 minutes and I recorded it. So I'll post a short on that today and show you guys how freaking fast it was. It was absurd fast. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It really depends on the situation where you're going to have these things. And I think I'll be able to just throw a fan on them, keep them nice and cool. And eventually, I'm sure there will be an upgrade for these. Like Mr. Crypto KJ said, probably get closer to 300 gigahashes. I mean, 100 gigahash units can get almost 200 now. So there's always that possibility. Again, it comes down to silicon and all that. And also, actually, you know what? Today I'm going to rip those apart. I'm going to rip them apart. I'll do them side by side. I have to, before I do that though, I want to do like a heat test. I want to double check how hot these units are. I'm going to, you know what, I should probably just unplug it. How should I do that? I guess it doesn't matter, right? As long as I have the heat test in the same application, like if I leave these on the floor, I heat test it on the floor, do the thermal paste and all that, and then put it back on the floor in the same spot, just kind of compare what the heat is. That's kind of what I want to do. I want to see how shitty their thermal paste is, but I do want to open up both units and compare them side by side because the original KS0 has 4 chips in it, if I'm not mistaken, and the brand new KS0 Pro is 12 chips, and apparently they're the same ones as the KS3s. So that could be a very, very nice breakthrough if somebody could overclock those. It'll drop after the halving, bro. What are we talking about? Let's see. Let me see. What are we talking about, DJ? Like, I already swapped my CKB to Litecoin because it'll drop. Oh, you're talking about are you talking about the Litecoin halving, or are you talking about the upcoming Bitcoin halving? It'll drop after the halving. Trying to figure out what he's talking about. When you get the Pro case open, drill more speed holes in the top. You know what? Actually, Panda didn't show the holes that were there. So well, he kind of did, right? So in the top of the case, I actually noticed that, and I went and looked at mine. I was like, get the fuck out of here. There's no way there's no holes in this thing. So I went over and I looked, and at the way the grate's designed, in the middle, there is less holes. Yes, 100%. But if you look under the angle, like there's an angle to the heatsink, there's holes underneath that angle. So it's not just one row in the middle. It's actually a couple rows. But I didn't notice that in Panda's video when he was ripping it apart, and I was like, get the fuck out of here. There's no way there's only 3 holes in this thing, because I totally would have just drilled more holes. You guys know me. I absolutely would have. But yeah, I don't see the point to do that as of right now. I mean, it's cool as shit down here anyways. I did a short yesterday doing a heat test. It was on like 90 something Celsius, so it wasn't bad. I mean, 90 something degrees, not Celsius. That would have been terrible. Jeez. All right, let's see. Serial said, would be great to 3D print some side panels where the IO is that have a bunch of holes. That would be awesome. Removing it really improves temps. Oh yeah. So I was actually planning on doing, so you know how I have the Misfit Mining stands? I don't think I have them here. I don't have them here, but I was planning on doing some sort of Misfit Mining stand because I'm going to stack these all up. Obviously, I'm going to have 7 of them. I need to put them somewhere. So I'm going to angle them all, and I do have to design something. So I don't know. It really depends. It depends how much the thermal paste improves this actual unit heat-wise. But other than that, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Need to drill out the screw holes for the fan screws too. Well, actually, Mr. Steven Cicero, if you ended up using a normal 120 millimeter fan with the extension, actually, you don't even need the extension ones. You could use the little fan, what's it called? Screws, and just put it through, like, the middle is usually open on the fans. I literally have nothing to show you guys, but if you look at the fans, it's like a top and a bottom to the fan. You can put the screw in the middle and drop it through, and then just stick the screwdriver through the top hole to tighten it down. I've had to do that on other units before, so I know that works, but I can give it a shot later. I'll see what I can do. Let's see. I have to buy a KSO Pro now. This is 100 Air. Well, if you guys do, there's a link in the description. You get 5% off. I believe it's 5%. Full transparency. It's a referral link. I don't know. I honestly have no idea what I'm even gonna get for referring you guys, but regardless, it's down there. So go down there and check it out. I'll actually put it in the chat quick if you guys are really interested in getting it. But just remember that you're going to have what's it called, to wait until the December batch if you do order from Ice River. So I know you know, Hawk Crypto Mining and T Swift might be able to get them faster, so go check those guys out. But obviously that's in Discord. But that's the link if you guys want. Use Chump 2023 for 5% off. So I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. I think you have to make an account and then you guys can do that. But overall, it's not really that bad. Let me get rid of all this stuff. I'm just gonna recap here. Yeah, so KS0 429. Again, this is without the PSU if I'm not mistaken. So essentially, actually, you get a free PSU if I'm not mistaken with the discount. That's pretty much how it goes. But I recommend just getting some sort of, you know, barrel jack connector or whatever. Like I just showed you guys these things. Let's see if I can bring this up again. That'll work. I would recommend doing this. Getting these little barrel connectors, something like these. I'll try to find them on Amazon for you. 2 wires, barrel connector. I got these from that dude that was running the grid seed miners, and I think this is the best way to do it. It's yeah, they've been running perfect on my little unit over here, and it's just it makes way more sense. Those laptop bricks get way too hot, and that honestly my first one popped just over a month, so I couldn't return the thing. So I just bought a new one, and I'm like, I'm sending it right back in that box. F that thing. It was a friggin' literally a month. I was so mad. Let's see, what is Mr. Max saying? That's big news, Max. What's Max saying? Max? Okay, I stand corrected. I was thinking spot ETF would be a closed ETF. They open-ended ETFs. Oh my god, went down the rabbit hole of authorized participants. What a racket. Wait, hold on. Wait, did Max just agree that I was right? Max, bring it in for a hug. One of those. Appreciate you, buddy. That's, you know what, I'm gonna clip this and I'm gonna save it for the rest of my life. I was right, Max was wrong. I'm gonna make the sweatshirt right here. It'll be great. Max, love you to death, buddy. You're awesome, guys. We'll be back, obviously. Mr. Mining Saturday Night Live. Mr. Crypto Mikkel is gonna be going live literally right now. Supposedly said 10:30, so we're gonna send you guys over there. Hopefully you guys have a good day. Enjoy your weekend. And actually, you know what, I'm gonna put a poll on my channel. I want to know if you guys want me to go live on Sundays, because I might just do Monday, literally every day of the week, 7 days a week. So let me know if you guys want to do that. Have a good one, and I'll catch you guys soon. Peace.